Hi everybody, thanks for stopping by this video today. I had so much fun at the thrift store. Cannot wait to show you all the things I found. I came away with some really great stuff. So this first thing is a lamp here. It was brass and it had like a black stone on it. I didn't pick it up just because I have some brass lamps that need to sell. And just last night I got a message about one of my brass lamps, and the person was in California and the shipping was real crazy on it. Like, the lamp's a big lamp, and yeah, it's in a lot of people's carts, but I think that it hasn't sold yet because the shipping on it is probably high because it is large and heavy. And I don't know. I don't think there's anything I can do about that because that is just what USPS is charging for shipping it. I don't keep the money. USPS does. So unfortunately, the shipping's really high on it. So I was like, I don't think I need to pick up another lamp. That one was actually much smaller than this other lamp I have listed. But maybe if I sell these lamps, I will start picking up some more. I did recently just pick up a smaller brass lamp, and hopefully the shipping on that won't be too bad for most parts of the US. And right now I'm looking at picture frames. I did pick up a paint by number recently at a yard sale, and it's a really pretty fall scene with the orange leaves and a jumping buck in the woods. And it's unframed, so if I can find a frame in the next few days, I would like to frame it. If not, I need to just get it up on Etsy because seasonal stuff, especially fall, needs to get up there. I've definitely listed most of my Christmas stuff that I have that I had been holding on Etsy. And here is another brass lamp. That was a very pretty brass lamp. I actually filmed that lamp and some other stuff in my last video when I was here at the St. Vincent, but I accidentally deleted that footage and had accidentally deleted a lot of footage from that day. So I had shown that lamp and this really beautiful brass coffee table. It's oval. It has glass on the top. It was only $24.99. I don't need a coffee table, or I definitely would have bought that. That was really pretty. So why do I keep going to the same thrift store over and over again? Well, my daughter goes to pre-K and it's local, and I need to kill time before I have to pick her up again. So that is why I come here. And even though I was just here actually the day before, I come home with a lot of really great stuff. And I'm always surprised about, am I going to get stuff when I was just here? And at this thrift store, I almost always do. And that's because this one, they're always putting new stuff out. So, yeah, I almost didn't come today, and I'm so glad I did because I love the pieces I picked up. Those little seagulls right there I have listed in my shop. I had bought those at this thrift store before. Not the ones in the video, but another pair. And then this was a great find. This was $2.99. It was a solid brass key that you hang your little keys on. I was really excited to find that. I loved that piece. I really want to keep that piece, but I will list it. And then this was a handmade, artist-signed candle votive. And it was dated 2017 on it. And it's not vintage to Etsy. It has to be 2006 or later. So I think I'm just going to end up keeping that candle votive for myself. I felt like I couldn't just leave it on the shelf. I had to take it home. You could definitely list that on Etsy, eBay. But eBay is such a slow sell for me, so I'm not going to bother. This was a Studio Pottery mirror. It had caught my eye. You could kind of tell it was Studio Pottery. It was signed, and it had no damage. Surprisingly, those flowers were intact. However, I did not pick it up. I just felt like it might be a slower sell. I do like it, so maybe if it keeps hanging around the thrift store, you never know, I might pick it up next time, but today I left it. And then I don't know if you saw, there was those 2 carts there. So they're always bringing out new carts. And I do like to peruse the carts. Okay, into some dishware. I picked this up to see what the maker was, and of course stickers were over it, so I wasn't sure. Found a brass planter, a small size one. It was really cute. Decided to leave it. It would be nice to put a little plant in. I just didn't want to put it up and list it. I just didn't feel like it would sell for a whole lot online. However, I would definitely decorate with it in my own home and pick it up at the thrift store if I needed a little planter. Always so much dishware at the thrift store. There's the blue and white. See, I need to get better at knowing what to look with dishware. I really want to find Fire and Light. I know that for sure. And I found a lot of Fire and Light lookalikes, but yeah, that vase up there that's hand painted kind of looked like a Mackenzie Childs. I've looked at it before and it's not. But if you see hand painting like that on like vases, they can be Mackenzie Child. And here's a Star and Moon wastebasket. I wanted to show you that because I wanted to let you know, if you keyword 90s celestial on things that have star and moon, they seem to sell really well on Etsy, at least for me. Okay, so these were really cool. I didn't know what they were other than I knew they were wall pockets. I didn't know who made them, if they were valuable. So I put them in my cart and I do look them up, and I'm really excited to show you what I find. And I'm going to insert some photos at the end of the listings I pull up. Okay, this caught my eye. It looked like studio pottery. If you find something like that, it is called a butter bell. You actually can put your butter in there. And I did not end up picking that up. It might have been studio pottery. There was like a sticker. It could have been over the, if the artist signed it. But since it was just kind of gray and simple, I just didn't think it would stand out too much in a listing photo. But people do like butter bells. You can definitely pick them up if they seem to be more exciting of a pattern or color. People do like them. They're kind of funny. I've never used a butter bell. I just use a butter dish. It's like a different way to do it, but I know some people like that. Okay, so I found this brass piece. It was nice that it was solid. Had some weight to it. So I did end up leaving that on the shelf. I have 2 other brass items that are Asian, and they haven't sold for me yet. So when those both sell, I will start picking up some more Asian style brass. So here is plates and bowls that have what looks to be hand painting. That said Avon on the bottom. And this one said something else. I'm looking for it to say Mackenzie Childs. So if you see a checkerboard pattern and some hand painting like a flower, check it out. 9 times out of 10, it is a Mackenzie Childs lookalike. But once in a while, you'll find the real deal. And I have found Mackenzie Childs at the thrift store before, so it's worth a look. Here's a depression glass piece, and underneath a child's plate with Noah's Ark on it. And on the back, it just said Japan. Looking over the mugs, I saw that mug that looked like studio pottery. However, it was a mass-produced mug that was supposed to look like studio pottery. This aisle got pretty crowded, but I did pull some good stuff that I didn't film, and I will show you guys soon. So this is just one of those office name plaques you put on a desk, and I decided to get that for my husband. I'm going to print his name out and put it on his desk, so hopefully he likes that. He works from home, but I thought it'd be kind of fun and funny to do that for him. So I was looking at this basket. It looks like glass, but it was actually plastic, and that butterfly is broken. The next thing I look at is this solid wood box. It has some marquetry inlay on the top. And what marquetry is, it's just very small little pieces of wood veneer that's glued together to make a pattern. And I did want to keep that box. I went around my house looking for where I could put it, and I ended up coming to the conclusion I don't have a great spot for it, so I need to list it. But I liked it. I think just like the simplicity and the color of the wood, I wanted to keep it, but it's going to go up on Etsy. So if you like it, it will be there. And then down there is a Temptations dish, and that's one of the patterns that I see a lot. I'd mentioned Temptations in a previous video, in my Goodwill video. And yeah, I see that all the time in different colors, but yeah, that's Temptations. Over here is a beautiful crocheted blanket. Oh my goodness. I loved it. And sometimes the crochet yarn that they use is a little itchy. This yarn was really, really soft. And in my head, I was telling myself, I don't need another crochet blanket. I already have a ton. And if it's still here in a week or so, maybe I'll pick it up then, but I just felt like I needed to leave it there for someone else. It was only $6.99, which is such a good price. I love crocheted blankets. They bring so much texture, and I love when they have a lot of color to them like that one did. Okay, here's the fresh cart. There was a ton of Foldscraft at the bottom of it, like a whole set of Foldscraft. My grandma actually had that exact same Foldscraft pattern, and she would use it for like Christmas and Thanksgiving, so it feels a little sentimental. And I did end up buying these candles for myself. They were $2.99 each. And I love that color green. I love decorating with that color in my house. So I'm going to go down to the bottom here and look at a box. But I wanted to ask you guys, is any of this Foldscraft worth picking up? Like maybe were those candle holders worth picking up? I'm not sure. I did get a Foldscraft wall clock here in that same pattern. And it was a plate clock, wall clock. And those do sell well. I've sold a Port Marion one not too long ago on Etsy. That's a plate wall clock. Those are always a good pickup. There's always someone looking for a plate clock. So cute to hang them in a kitchen. I love that look. But yeah, let me know. Is there any Foldscraft that you think would do good reselling other than plate clocks? We know those ones sell, but like dishware wise or candlestick wise, let me know. It's a very common brand. It's always at the thrift store. And looking through the toy area here, in the back I did spot that big Barbie doll house. It follows me around. I see it almost at every single thrift store, that exact same doll house. So I feel like a lot of people had bought that doll house. Like it was very popular at one time. It's probably from like the early 2000s. I'm going to do a quick peek in the doll bin. Since I was just here, I'm not going to dig through it. Looks like kind of the same stuff in there. So here are some comfy chairs, and as usual, I decided to sit here and look up those items I have in my cart. So here is a little overview of the items I picked up today. As you can see, I got a depression glass piece inside this metal basket. I ended up picking that up not on camera. It was just really crowded in the aisle when I picked that up. And my favorite piece, this Florentine box. So I'm going to go into some comps here. I didn't know the value of what that depression glass piece was. So this is a listing on Etsy. It was listed for $25. And so I decided to put it back. I wasn't that excited about listing this, and this isn't a sold comp, so I thought it might sit around for a while. So the next piece I looked up was those wall sconces. I actually did find a sold listing, which is always good. So if it had sold before, it's more likely to sell again. And it did sell for $44 for just one of them. So I have a set of two. One of them has a small chip, but yeah, I'm really excited for these. This is what the AI overview gave me. It says it's a depression glass piece from the 1950s from Jeanette Glass. Always look into those AI things a little deeper, you know. Sometimes they're wrong, but it's a good place to start. And at the end, I included a little haul. There's that tissue box. Tissue boxes always sell for me, and so that was great. Here's those wall sconces together. I love the fluted design on them, that key and that box. So I should be listing those pretty soon on Etsy. Well, thank you so much for stopping by the video, and I will catch you next time.